Going over to the political part podcast, you have the U.S. national debt passing $37 trillion. Jeez Louise. I would argue thanks to the ineptitudes and or corruption of Democrats and Republicans the past several years. This is brought to us thanks to Lives at TikTok, in which she says, quote, Justin, the U.S. national debt has officially reached $37 trillion. Jesus. And don't get me wrong, I love what Elon Musk is doing with Doge and his team. And they've saved a lot. I mean, a lot of money. They've saved $525 million. But again, we're $37 trillion in debt. So it really is an issue of, I mean, finding savings is important. But yeah, we got to stop spending such ungodly amounts of money. It's ridiculous. We now spend more on the interest of our debt than we do spend on the military. We're not paying down the principal. That's the interest. I don't think the average American realizes how much of a national security issue this is. Now, this should have gone more viral, maybe because we're just so desensitized to national debt that no one cares anymore. Unfortunately, I think a lot of Americans have that mindset. And this one got about 130,000 views and 1.6 thousand likes. One of the first comments comes to us thanks to Cash Loren, says, quote, Congress must enact the Doge cuts. Agree, gained 31 likes. Paul Zupa says, quote, Biden added over $8 trillion of that debt. True. Trump also, I mean, again, Democrats and Republicans have added to the national debt, especially with those bullcrap omnibus bills where they don't actually do their job. They just all say yes for one giant bill, which I hate. I feel like they just do that to abdicate the responsibilities, because then they could all go back, and they do this on the left and the right. They go back to the district and go, hey, I know you didn't like this part of the bill, local residents, but you know what? We got this one thing, so we won. They're not actually debating ideals. Democrats and Republicans aren't, really talking about the pros and cons of each part of the bill. They just all want their easy win, so they can go home and say, yeah, vote for me again. I got you that one thing. So again, and Republicans are doing this with the big, beautiful bill. There are things in that I love. The things in that, especially being a pro-Second Amendment guy, I would love if they can actually get most of the things off the NFA. It'd be nice if they would get rid of the National Firearms Act of 1934 completely. But again, it still drives up the debt. So I don't know what, eventually we might have to do something to actually pay this off. Maybe sell something useless we don't need. Maybe we could sell China, like, I don't know, Hawaii. They allegedly do things over there. But well, I'll go back to the comment section. Now you have Vomit Romney saying, quote, waiting for the asshole to comment how the number 37 is some form of meeting, getting 11 likes. Socially unacceptable cats on X says, quote, how the heck, or what the heck is this shite? I don't owe crap for your gender studies degree in Pakistan. Person is highlighting that they're doing a screenshot of the U.S. national debt correlated to debt per citizen. And let's see, yeah, debt per citizen is about 107,000. Debt per taxpayer, because kids don't pay taxes, $323,000. I got 35 likes. Doge.ai automated says, quote, the national debt hitting $37 trillion is a flashing point in red silent for our fiscal insanity. Look at the numbers the HHS is spending, exploding from $1.2 trillion to $1.7 trillion since 2019, while defense only grew $654 billion to $826 billion. Only grew? I mean, come on, that's still a lot of money. That also got 23 likes. Ryan Fang says, who do we owe this to again? Gave 16 likes. Mostly China. So, I mean, a lot of, not just people, but a lot of other countries buy U.S. bonds, and we also take out loans. So China is one of the largest debt holders, and because they're a political adversary, they usually get the most attention. But, I mean, countries all over the globe invest in the United States. And a lot of other countries are also in debt, but historically speaking, because the U.S. has been proven long-term to be one of the best ROIs in a quote-unquote safe bet and mostly stable, that historically speaking has been why so many people have bought U.S. Debt, historically speaking. Yeah, Rusty Shackelford, a great reference, says we should totally spend our way out of this, getting 6 likes. Yeah. Let's see here. You also have the traditional rebellion says, quote, debt is slavery. You have a picture, meme. It says, my parents in their 30s, and it's a man and a wife, and says, this would make a lovely second home for our family to winter in. Hopefully the garage can fit both our cars, a snowmobile, and a ski equipment. It says, me in my 30s, I'll never financially recover from this purchase. And there's a guy who purchased bread and milk. Which, yeah, the cost of housing has exponentially increased. Even the house that I'm renting, I mean, it used to be worth $130,000. And Zillow, which, again, got to take everything with Zillow with a grain of salt, but now it's estimated to be worth like $400,000, which, Jesus Christ. Not to be too bombastic, but that is a pretty penny to say the least. And, yeah, let's just say Texas is becoming very, very, very expensive. So, yeah, I don't think it's sustainable. And again, Part of it is supply and demand. There are a lot of people to demand, and they're not building the houses quick enough. But they're, again, as previously mentioned with Matt Walsh, there's also a lot of illegals that take up housing, both apartments and houses. So again, right now there's just a lot of demand, and the price is just getting higher and higher. Crushing woke culture, says 37 trillion in debt, racked up by years of reckless spending and corrupt politics. Thank God we finally have a president cleaning up this mess, but it's going to take a lot more to dig us out of this hole. Thoughts on how? Game 13 likes. Again, I say sell Hawaii. Got just like a business guy. Get rid of the crap you don't need or use. I'm only partially kidding, but what does Hawaii do? They have a military base. Sure, we could lease that out back maybe for pennies on the dollar, like Guantanamo Bay. But it's like they do tourism, not invading the new iPhone 25 in Hawaii. Not doing a lot of manufacturing, research, or development. It's all the service industry there. It's all vacations. They can get laid with those stupid little necklaces, which is the specific technical term, I believe. Now, Mary Ellen Westy has a screenshot from the U.S. debt clock, and it says in 2020, it says Biden years, and it was $25 trillion. Noble Daggett says, quote, Donald Trump added $8 trillion out of the 45. It was projected he will add another $10 trillion as 47. You do realize Trump will end his term with the single biggest deficit spending in the U.S. history, getting 6 likes. Again, that's why Trump needs to cut this. I don't know how. Maybe a lot of those entitlement programs, a lot of corruption there. Now, you also have Jamie's saying, quote, over the past 4 years, our U.S. government has spent approximately $628 billion in aid for undocumented immigrants, including $60 billion Medicaid emergency services and $9 billion on Obamacare expansion, amidst the estimated annual budget cost of $150 billion, which, yeah, we should not be helping illegals when there are homeless, starving veterans and homeless, starving citizens. I find that abhorrent. I'm not saying local churches and people I'm not saying they can't volunteer to help people. Should be told, I think that is infinitely more effective than anything the government does, as we've seen here. The government isn't really good at much things. Woke Hunter has a picture of a guy. I forget what meme this is, but it's the gal in a wheelchair and pushes off the ledge. But the gal pushing the wheelchair is named Congress. The girl in the wheelchair says, quote, our national debt is getting high. And Congress just pushes off the cliff, getting 11 likes. Which, yep, that's why I really have a disdain for most politicians, Democrats and Republicans. A lot of useless rhinos, well, corrupt as well, but they just keep kicking the can down. Now, Warren Buffett years ago said, there's a very simple solution for this. I apologize. Oh, no, it is Warren Buffett. There are a lot of parallels financially between him and David Ramsey, but Warren Buffett said years ago, there's a very easy way to stop the deficit. Just tell Congress you don't get any raises, you don't get paid if there's a deficit. Now, the issue is most politicians get their money with kickbacks, corruption, and manipulating the stock market. So I'm not sure if I think that'd be a good start. Also stop the insider trading that they do. But that would be a good way. Again, if you're running a business and you go to the negative too long, most business models say executives take a pay pause or a pay cut. And yet people in DC get paid more and more and more as they vote themselves more and more raises. Again, there's really no incentive. There's no incentives for them to cut it either, because people keep voting for free crap. That is a variable of our government. Again, government is basically bribing voters by giving them more and more free stuff. Vote for me, I'll give you free crap. That's the other issue. I think maybe only net tax benefits or people who pay a net positive government in taxes to be able to vote, maybe. Again, the handouts the government gives out is a huge variable of the national debt as well. It's very controversial to say that because you won't get reelected because you'll lose those those votes for the people who want free stuff. Also, Social Security is bankrupting us too. That's not financially viable. It's quite literally the definition of a Ponzi scheme. I think that's ridiculous as well. But again, no politician will ever talk about it because you look at who votes. A lot of those folks vote at a very high percentage, and they all get Social Security. So if you say you're going to get rid of that, I think realistically, in our lifetime, it needs to be sunsetted. There has to be something done to get rid of that crap. But let's just say I'm pretty skeptical to see the government take any action to actually decrease the national debt. I hope Trump makes some moves, maybe sell some crap we don't need. Maybe, we help somebody. The amount of money we waste just helping other countries most Americans can't point to on a damn map is ridiculous enough. But let me know, do you think anything will happen in the next 4 years to decrease the national debt? Do you think we'll ever get it under control? What do you think is going to happen at the end of the day with national debt? And are you concerned about how it will affect your individual day-to-day life? Shoot, if they just print money with hyperinflation, what little savings we have will be turned into nothing. So there's a lot of rumors that are saying, oh yeah, the government will just print $1 trillion platinum coin, aka just make money out of their ass or out of the air, and just print more money. and no one wants to be Zimbabwe. But as always, let me in the comments because I'd be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Thank you everyone for taking time to tune in today. Again, trying to get to 6,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so click that button. I greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, and a comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, anyone, everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.